Every Sunday, millions of fans sit in front of their TVs, convinced they're watching pure competition. Players clashing in brutal contests of strength, speed, and willpower. Coaches pacing the sidelines, living and dying with every play. But what if I told you the outcome of these games is influenced long before kickoff? Not in the locker rooms, not in the huddles, but in hidden war rooms filled with glowing screens, data scientists, and algorithms powerful enough to tilt the balance of the sport. We like to think football is decided on the field, but increasingly it's decided by math, by machines, and by models so advanced that even the coaches themselves sometimes don't fully understand them. This is the story of the dark analytics that decide NFL games before a single whistle blows. And trust me, once you see how deep this rabbit hole goes, you'll never look at football the same way again. Let's rewind. For decades, football strategy was built on instinct. Legendary coaches like Bill Walsh or Vince Lombardi made decisions based on feel, their gut, their experience, and their ability to read the flow of the game. That world is gone. By the mid-2010, the NFL quietly entered the age of analytics. The Philadelphia Eagles leaned heavily on data in 2017 when they shocked the world and won the Super Bowl. Aggressive fourth down calls that seemed reckless, they were backed by numbers showing those decisions increased their win probability. The Baltimore Ravens took it even further. Head coach John Harbaugh openly admitted he uses analytics in nearly every big decision, whether to go for two, when a punt, how to manage the clock. Today, almost every team employs an analytics staff. What was once a nerdy sideshow has become a billion-dollar arms race. And here's the catch. The analytics you see on TV, things like next-gen stats, are just the surface. The real power lies in data we never get to see. Most fans don't realize that every single NFL player wears RFID chips inside their shoulder pads. These chips track speed, acceleration, player location, and even levels of fatigue in real time. That information is beamed to servers where algorithms crunch millions of data points. How a cornerback reacts in press coverage, how a quarterback moves under pressure, how often a running back hesitates before hitting the gap. And here's the scary part. These models can predict plays. If your offense lines up in a certain formation, the algorithm might know with 85% certainty what play you're about to run. Imagine being a defensive coordinator and having that information in your ear before the snap. That's not football anymore. That's something closer to chess, where one side is secretly reading the other's moves. Of course, the NFL shares a watered-down version of this data publicly as next-gen stats. But insiders say the real models, the proprietary war room algorithms, go way deeper. It's not just data, it's power. Power that could change the outcome of games before the players even touch the ball. Now let's connect this to something even bigger, money. The NFL is not just a sport. It's the foundation of a global betting empire. Billions are wagered every season, and the sharpest bettors don't rely on luck. They rely on algorithms. Ever notice how Vegas betting lines shift hours before official news breaks? A quarterback's injury, a sudden lineup change, even a referee assignment. Sometimes the betting market reacts before the media does. How? Data. Sharp betting firms use AI to scrape practice reports, insider tweets, and even facial recognition to detect fatigue in player interviews. When something looks off, the money moves and the betting lines adjust. Now here's the theory. Some NFL teams actually monitor these market shifts. Think about that. A team might discover an opponent's hidden weakness not from game film, but from changes in the betting line. Even darker, some whisper about leaks. Analysts who feed information, injuries, playbook insights, locker room tension into betting models before it becomes public. If true, this creates a feedback loop. Betting markets quietly influencing how teams prepare for games. Which raises a question no fan wants to think about. Are we watching football or the financial markets disguised as football? Artificial intelligence isn't the future of football, it's the present. Some franchises already use AI models that simulate thousands of possible outcomes in real time. The AI can tell a coach, if you run this play now, you have an 87% chance of converting. Sounds like a dream, right? A perfect assistant coach. But here's where the darkness creeps in. Coaches don't always take the AI's advice. Sometimes they deliberately call a worse play. Why? To protect their data edge. If a team always calls the optimal play, other teams, and even betting models, will catch on. So coaches intentionally lose small battles to win the larger war of deception. In other words, it's not just about outplaying your opponent anymore. It's about outsmarting the machines watching you. Think about that next time you see a coach make a dumb decision. Was it incompetence, or was it strategy disguised as failure? And this brings us to the ethical gray zone. Football has always been a mix of strategy and athleticism. But when predictive models and betting markets shape outcomes before kickoff, are we still watching a sport or a simulation? Fans want to believe in the purity of competition, that players decide the game on the field. But the truth is murkier. A key fourth down stop may have been influenced by an algorithm that flagged the opponent's tendency days earlier. A missed field goal might shift billions in betting markets. And here's my personal take. I'm not saying games are rigged, but I do believe they're manipulated by forces most fans never see. Forces driven not by the love of the game, but by the love of money. And when money talks, even football listens. So next Sunday, when you're cheering for your team or screaming at the TV after a blown call, remember this. The game you're watching has already been shaped, not by fate, not by luck, but by a network of analysts, betting markets, and machines that operate in the shadows. The NFL is still football, but it's also Wall Street, Las Vegas, and Silicon Valley rolled into one. And the scariest part? We've only seen the beginning. As AI grows more powerful, as betting markets expand, and as teams chase every hidden advantage, the line between sport and simulation will blur even further. So I'll leave you with this question. When the outcome of a game can be predicted before kickoff, are we still watching football or just numbers in motion?